Hello there, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of PSHE4You, a podcast of everything PSHE. I'm Paul, and I'm from the Health and Wellbeing in Schools team.
And I'm Caroline. I work for Public Protection Partnerships.
We are going to be looking at the topic of healthy relationships today. And actually, we're going to be doing a bit of a two-parter. We're going to be looking at healthy relationships. And next time, we're going to be looking at unhealthy relationships. And we are very, very lucky today to be joined by three very special guests. Would you all like to say hi, guys?
Hiya, my name is Charlie, and I'm an RHSC ambassador at Hill Green.
Hi, I'm Isolde.
Hi, I'm Mimi.
It's really, really great to have you with us. I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts and obviously the experiences of young people in our local area. So let's talk about a little bit about your role and also about healthy relationships.
Thank you. So within your school, we know you're the RSHE ambassadors. Can you explain a little bit more about what an RSHE ambassador actually is?
Yes, okay. So basically, an RSHE ambassador, well, we work to sort of spread awareness and bring together at certain aspects of relationships, health, education. We tend to communicate with both students and staff in order to bring together all sorts of ideas to make students and staff aware of not only what's going on in school, but in general, how we can manage these sort of topics in times such as these where things change so rapidly and curriculums do change as they do.
Thank you. And why did you want to become an RSHE ambassador?
Who wants to go first on this? I guess we'll have a go at this one. So for me, I really felt that it was important that especially younger students were growing up with the ability to talk about and communicate about these sort of topics, because especially when I was younger, I knew that it was far less accessible and far more difficult to talk about, and I believe that it's essential for proper growth and development of children that we are able to express these ideas or talk about our feelings and our thoughts and health, relationships, and education.
I think it's really important to have a point of communication between students and teachers, because I think it can be very difficult to talk to teachers at certain times. And also just having that relatability between older students, it can be quite helpful. Also, throughout the lower school, I've really noticed what can be improved over the curriculum of PSHE and RSHE. So I think we've got a good input.
Mine was more of an understanding point of view, because when I was growing up in the lower school, I felt as though no one really understood how I felt about certain situations, and that I felt that I was different to everybody else. So I wanted to let people, the reason why I became an ambassador was so that people could understand that it's not just there on their own, and that everyone has related to them at some point in their life on their issues.
Thank you so much for sharing your reasons, and really encouraging and inspiring to hear about why you wanted to get involved being a RSHE ambassador, and really looking forward to hearing about some of the things that you guys are getting up to. So we're talking today a little bit about healthy relationships, and that obviously can be kind of romantic relationships, or it could be friendships or family relationships. So it'd be really interesting to hear from all three of you. What are your thoughts? What do you think the key characteristics of a healthy relationship are?
I guess I'll go first. For me especially, I believe that it's really important that in any relationship, people are able to communicate freely and openly. I believe that communication, whether it's necessarily inherently positive or constructive criticism or communication of any kind, you should be able to talk to the person you're in a relationship with. Especially with romantic relationships, the communication may be different to a family or a friendship. But especially for your own mental well-being, it is essential that you can communicate your thoughts, feelings, and emotions without any worry of pushback or judgment, or potentially, if that is the case, then being able to do that and understand the outcome.
Yeah, I completely agree with Charlie, but I also think trust is extremely important, especially in romantic relationships. But as well as that, everything that Charlie said with just being able to talk to each other and having a healthy outlet for all your stresses and things that are worrying you. Yeah.
I agree with Charlie and I agree with Zoda. I also think that being able to understand one another, being able to understand why, how they act or how they react to certain things in a relationship. And I feel like if you're able to understand each other, I think you'll be able to form a bond, a closer bond with each other in a healthy relationship. Yeah.
Some really great thoughts there, guys, and I really liked what all of you were saying there about, you know, it is so important, isn't it, to communicate and to feel, you know, not to feel afraid to do that, to feel open to speak and speak freely about the important things, you know, the things that might be stressing you out, the things that might be worrying you. Having that sense of trust, you're so right, is such a key thing, and can really challenge any kind of relationship or friendship if that's not there. And that understanding for one another, that kind of mutual respect is such an important thing, isn't it? And trying to put yourself in other people's shoes. You know, we're all different, aren't we? But it's so good to try as best as we can to understand how people are different and how people might feel differently about certain things or might be affected by certain things in a different way. Now, obviously, within any kind of relationship, whether romantic or not, inevitably at some point there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be conflicts, there's going to be challenges, and I'd be really interested to hear again from all three of you about what are your thoughts. How do people manage that? How do we manage conflict or disagreements in a healthy way?
Well, especially in relation to what you said, I feel like it's important in any sort of relationship that when it comes to managing conflict or disagreement, that you respect the other person's boundaries. Being able to understand their viewpoints, or at least understand that they may manage things in different ways, is essential if you want to continue helpfully. For example, someone may not be very open to having one-on-one conversations. They may prefer to go off, have some quiet time, and then recuperate later. And being able to communicate with them about what they may or may not be okay with, or with what may or may not be allowed, in a sense, is very important if you want to be able to grow and develop healthily.
I think just being open and honest and willing to fix the issues that are happening. I think some people can be very closed off, and that often doesn't help. So I think as long as you're open and you treat the other person with respect, I think, yeah.
I think the big thing that we all three have spoke about is communication. I feel like if you're not able to communicate on what the issue is and not be able to resolve it in a nice and calm manner, I don't think that you should be in the type of relationship where,
Yeah, I do agree. I think it's also important to note that when it comes to communicating and respecting boundaries, it doesn't necessarily need to just be communicating with your family member, your friend, or your partner. You need to be able to have these thoughts and feelings, be able to understand them yourself, but if necessary, you can talk to other people. This isn't, if it isn't, it's essentially a very private matter. You should be able to feel comfortable talking to family, talking to friends, talking to anyone that you feel comfortable with in order to sort out these issues.
I found it really interesting, all you guys saying about that sense of respect and that sense of, you know, because so often conflicts or disagreements can kind of come in the heat of the moment, can't they? And I think you all made really good points there around maybe needing to take that time to be calm, or taking that time to recognize what other people might be feeling. And I think that's so important, isn't it? Because so often, you know, if someone says something and it feels a bit hurtful, it can immediately kind of get our backs up, can't it? And we can think, want to go on the offensive. But actually having maybe that opportunity to reflect, or that opportunity to to try and be calm and try and stay at that level place is a really, really key thing in helping to manage conflicts. And thank you so much for all of your thoughts on that. It's been really, really great to speak to you, three of you, this morning, and really looking forward, as I say, to hearing about some of the fantastic things I'm sure you'll be doing at school in your roles as RSHE ambassadors. And thank you for giving us some of your thoughts on healthy relationships. As ever, we will be sending out a pack to schools with lots of resources, lots of websites that people can check out for more information and also more support about healthy relationships and how to grow them and some of the key principles. I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today, and thank you everyone for listening in, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye, everyone.